Tekken 8 is the first game in Tekken history where the opponent gets the unprecedented power of locking you down and prevent you from spacing him by the non-stop usage of buttons alone. They took away from the defender the capacity to space himself away from the opponent and create essential whiffs. The act of pressing buttons alone in of itself gives the opponent the power to lock you down. But the rabbit hole goes even deeper. It's much more egregious than that. Let's study this interaction in depth so we can understand how the odds are completely stacked against the defender in this godforsaken game. So, you do not ever disengage if the opponent doesn't want you to. But what do we get in any Tekken experience other than Tekken 8?
Shut your bitch ass up, nigga. Nobody asked you that a bitch ass thing. You better shut the fuck up before I knock your fucking head off your shoulders, old ugly ass bitch. Stupid ass bitch. Nigga, I'll kick your fucking heart out your chest, nigga. Better watch the fuck out, nigga. Stay the fuck out my mentions.
So, now, we have to outline exactly how and why that is a problem. Because when you're dealing with a character blessed with a frame data that allows him to do shit like this, and this, we have to consider our options to survive this. So that's what we will do. Now, since we already know backwards movement to space yourself from the opponent and create whiffs is completely out of question, I regret to inform you guys that lateral movement is also completely out of question, because every single move from this man's move list also happens to be a tracker because reasons. Even the moves that should obviously be linear for obvious balancing reasons, such as jab strings. I mean, what exactly can you do if you cannot move backwards, if you cannot move laterally, if everything jails so you can't duck it on reaction, and you're stuck against a vastly superior frame data? The options we have involve the usage of buttons, pressing buttons, the only thing this godforsaken game wants you to begin with. It can't get more not Tekken than this. But I digress. Let's see our options here. You can do this, and this, and this. Even though I was against the very existence of this move to begin with, and you can look it up. It's shit like this that makes me believe that maybe, just maybe, there was a reason for this to be a fucking counter hit launcher. So, I can't move away to disengage, I can't move laterally, and I have to be smothered to death by a much superior frame data, where everything jails and cannot be ducked on reaction. I say fuck this shit. Maybe there was a reason for that move to be what it was indeed, in an environment where movement is a non-option. I'm just kidding. Fuck don't you. I just want my traditional low game back. But I digress. But who the hell said my options are fail-proof? They can also lead me into disaster. And even my most reliable option can be easily dealt with, as long as the opponent has 2 brain cells to spare. And of course, you can always gamble. Suigetsu Strike is an available option, but the parry frame window is so tight that it will more than often lead to disaster. You can also monkey, a power crush. But when you look at the life bars at the end of the day, was it really worth it? But why, I ask you, why are we relegated to the act of pressing buttons to defend ourselves to begin with? Don't you see there's something profoundly dysfunctional here? It shouldn't be like this, when in fact it never was. If we're playing an actual Tekken experience, a legitimate Tekken experience, the most sensible way out of this madness is to get the hell away from Steve. You cannot possibly match his frame data. The man is literally safe on whiff in every single button he presses, constantly interrupts you through frame mathematics alone, and will counter hit launch you every single time. That is where he excels. These are his strengths. You have to disengage. You must disengage and re-establish neutral at any cost. The problem is, in Tekken 8, you cannot ever disengage if the opponent doesn't want you to. You cannot possibly disengage because the game mechanically forbids you from doing so. And if you want to know more about why, I made a whole video covering this issue in forensic detail. It's called The Incapacity to Create Whiffs, a systematic problem killing Tekken 8 from within. If you haven't watched it, please give it a shot. I promise you, it's worth it. So, Tekken 8 basically forbids you from disengaging organically, except the characters who happen to have a crutch evasive maneuver, either a sudden burst of backwards evasion or massive evasion from underneath. Still, those are exceptions, and these evasive maneuvers are committal to begin with. They are committal in nature, and each of them has its own drawback. And in any case, when you use these evasive crutches, you're not really disengaging, as in, you're not reestablishing neutral. You're just committing to evasion and hoping it pans out, which is not the same as trying to space yourself away from the opponent through the usage of Korean backdashing, an action that is much less committal in nature and is an integral part of a traditional Tekken experience. It is essential to the Tekken experience itself. Anyway, what I'm trying to convey is that not only your options as a defender are very restricted, but they are simultaneously not proportional. Their rewards are not proportional, not even remotely close to proportional to the outcomes in case you get them wrong. And the fact of the matter, the truth is, you're not supposed to be relegated to the usage of buttons to defend yourself. If there's to be a legitimate, balanced Tekken experience, you as a defender must have the capacity to eventually disengage from the opponent who is pressing buttons against you. There's a reason you must disengage at any cost, even if it means you get some hits here and there. Disengaging is the only way to force the opponent to play at your range for as long as you can maintain. That applies to any character or matchup. Positioning and spacing matters. You must always strive to play at your desirable range. Each character operates at an optimal range for them. Some characters excel at any range. But we know that is not the case for Steve in particular. So I must keep him at a range where my weapons reach him, but his weapons do not. And I must maintain this state for as long as I possibly can, even though it is inevitable he will eventually get inside. But here's the catch. In any other Tekken experience other than Tekken 8, just because my opponent managed to get inside doesn't mean I'm doomed to being locked down for eternity, unable to create space indefinitely. Sure, I might get some hits here and there. I might not get out of this situation without a scratch, but I will eventually be able to disengage and reestablish neutral again. Neutral used to be the most important aspect of Tekken, and it used to be the proving ground where skill gaps were allowed to express themselves. As long as they do not address movement, as long as they keep pushing for lockdown and over-dimensioned 50-50 offense, this game will never be a balanced and fulfilling Tekken experience. That's it for today, guys. I have so much projects to deliver, guys. But we will get there eventually. I'll just leave you guys with a true, traditional, legitimate Tekken experience so you can appreciate what Tekken is all about. The beauty and greatness of Tekken as we once had. I thank you guys for all the kindness and support you give me, and we'll be seeing each other again. God bless.
Fuck yeah! That is how it feels to play Tekken for once. This is Tekken, this is what I'm talking about.
Two.